LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the LegacyMaker Sports News Update. I'm your man, Darrell Owens. It's been a while since we've done one of these live LegacyMaker Sports News updates, but I'm excited today because I got two of the best in the industry with me today, and we're going to talk about, well, their team. We're going to talk about the Washington Commanders. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a drill here. It's the Washington Commanders, and we're going to talk about them today and their thoughts on that. All right, so first of all, let me go ahead and introduce my man, Mr. Drew Willingham, one of the best video producers in the game, Satoba Media in the building. Drew, what is up, sir?
Thank you for that great intro, my man. It has been a while since I've been on here, and I appreciate you having me back on, and looking forward to the first one of 2022. So thanks for having me on. Yes,
no problem. And then, of course, my man, he's got a couple of podcasts in the game. He is a part of Fox Sports 1340 AM Hopewell. My man, Wole Akinso. What's up, Wole? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. We have news out here, man. It dropped. It dropped. They dropped the mic. It was like, all right, Commanders, and that's what we're here to talk about. And I'm like, okay, I'm not claiming that name. I think I told you that already, Darrell. I'm not claiming that name. But around with my homies, they're gonna be called, but in front of everybody when I'm podcasting, because folks don't like the word, they're gonna get Commanders or whatever. So they'll get that. Well, I'll pick from the C's, like Crips. I'm gonna call them the C's. I don't know yet.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm trying to think.
Time to command these L's.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got two passionate guys in the sports industry, but also, like I said, two passionate former Washington Redskins, former Washington football team, now the Washington Commanders. Well, we're going to get this one started because, fellas, I need to know here, and I'm going to start with Wole because you are our guest here. Wole, I want your initial thoughts on the Washington football team becoming the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, it's a nice rollout plan, obviously to kind of deflect on what was happening to this season. This season was a bad season. I don't care what anybody tells me, it was a bad season. It was worse than Ron's first season. And first season to me was success. This season was kind of backwards. But I don't care they both won 7 games, but bringing this out there kind of to give the fans some hope into the next season. I just look at it like, a name is a name. In the grand scheme of things, all that matters is winning a football game, like winning football games, and building your program. Like that's what fans really care about. I do think that they were trying to be a little slick throwing this out there as soon as the season was over. This 2-22, like this whole announcement, but it is what it is. They have a name now. They can't mask the whole season with a name. They have to now look forward into kind of putting out a winning product. So that's how I look at it. Like. It's time to put out produce a winning product, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, very, very intrigued, man. It's going to be a very interesting season. It's just so much that go into it. Drew, Washington football team, now the Washington Commanders. What are your thoughts, brother?
Before I get into this take, I'd like to thank the Washington franchise for allowing us to cover them and the past that we had prior to the pandemic. Definitely understandable with the way things have gone, so we totally get it. Now, the glasses are off. Okay, guys, this name, you made us wait as long as you did for this name. Now the nickname is going to be the Commies, okay? Biggest rivalry, the Cowboys. America's team. Oh, yeah, you just gave them America's team now because they're going against the Commies, the number one enemy to the United States of America. From all of history, you're going to call yourself the Commanders. So when you have a team come to FedEx Field and they beat you, they're going to say, you just commanded this hell. You just lost. The Commanders just got commanded. That's how I feel about it.
Oh,
You should have just stuck with
man.
the Washington football team, or now you might as well change it to the Washington team of football so we can say hashtag WTF every time we see a loss.
Look.
Oh, man.
But I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, like the whole scenario, and we talked about this, Wale, on your show yesterday, and it's just like there's so many opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like so many opportunities. Like this was a big chance for them to rebrand that to something that the fans would love, and or maybe something the fans could find their way to rally around. And now, and now it could be just all on winning. Like you got to win for them to truly embrace the Commanders. So it's very interesting to me.
Yeah,
based on the
that's
history, I mean, with what their name was before, I get it, kind of going to the lineage to be Commanders, but not everybody is as savvy in history as they used to be. So I don't think everybody gets it. That's why there's so much turmoil when it comes to this name. I just hate it just because I think they could have done better than the Commanders, but that's just me.
Yeah, I just think that Washington has like the worst sports towns with of names, of team names, of sport. You have the Wizards and the Commanders. Like, all right, we're creativity. Like, we're there. This is where we're at now. And this is where we are. This is where we're at. We had the Bullets and we had the Redskins, and now we have the Commanders and the Wizards. At least the Capitals are cool. The Nationals kind of slick.
Legit.
Yeah, Capitals are cool, and the Nationals are slick. So it's a slick name. So I'm cool with that. But. Yeah, I just didn't like the whole rollout plan. There's a lot that I didn't like about even the whole name thing. It's just like you should have done so much, like you said, Darrell. We talked about it yesterday, but they should do so much more with this whole rollout. In terms of even more like you're producing a new name. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. Like in the grand scheme of things, though, we may not be fans of it. Some of us, like me, I'm including myself, weren't fans of like the whole name change. Period. But at the end of the day. It is a big thing. You're changing a name of a historical franchise, so that the whole rollout plan should have been something more, a big grand event, like not just trying to, hide or mask something. You know what I mean? Like 2/22 should have been, the date should have been announced. You know what I mean? Like you should have been announced it, like to a point where people kind of have some, like kind of get hyped up towards the season. All right. The name is going to drop now. Name's going to drop. You don't just drop that name change right after the season because people are going to get mad that you finished 7-10. Like, don't do that. Like, I mean, if you're smart, you know what was up. So to me, they could have did better with that. I'm kind of like amazed of how pressed some of these individuals were to try to find the name. Early, like a helicopter flying to a building, like flying to FedEx. Like, is Nixon's in town now? Like, are we doing Watergate out here? Like, is it that serious?
Yeah, and don't tell Theismann next time you got big news either.
Yeah, man, Joe Theismann was letting stuff out the day before.
Like Joe Theismann, can I say snitch? Like, why are we doing it? Like really? Like you're Joe Theismann. Like I would get a disgruntled individual. Is he not getting paid? Are they doing him wrong? Is bank account a little light? Like to come out and say, you know what? I'm gonna drop this bomb now before the unveiling, the official unveiling. Like I didn't get that. Like Joe Theismann is not dumb. Like I didn't get that either.
Yeah, I felt like the whole process was just botched to an extent because like. Yeah, you announced right after the season, bad timing. And I know the thought process, we can get the headlines during, the off week of the Super Bowl, which is probably a good idea if Tom Brady didn't retire. It would have been a good idea under circumstances. I feel like if they would have held on to it and kind of like they just didn't do a good job of keeping it covered up. Jason Wright, who seems like a really good guy. He leaves the picture of the thing on there. And the internet is they're sleuths. They're the Inspector Gadgets of our generation here. Like they know it all. They just know how to find things. Like they can find Carmen Sandiego, Waldo, and all the crew. They can find them all.
Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah. They can find
I love that show, man. Go sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's a great show. But that's my thing. Like
I sing the song too. Go ahead.
Sorry. I know it's hard to keep things tight knit nowadays because of what social media is, but I felt like they could have been done just a little bit better.
Yeah, to me, it was going to get leaked. I mean, I felt like that was a guarantee. I mean, it's like you said, Darrell. Like that's a that people are so savvy with stuff like that. You can't keep that type of thing a secret, especially when you got people making jerseys, people making merchandise. Like, what do you think? Like, the person that may not be in the higher realm in terms of like an executive or whatnot, but these individuals who are making it, you tell me they ain't gonna tell nobody?
Right.
That's human nature. That's human nature, man. That's human nature. Yeah, you ain't paying me enough. What you say, Drew?
You should be able to trust Joe Theismann, though, your first ball winning.
That's the one you're supposed to trust, though. Hey, Drew.
Come on, Joe.
I'm not judging anybody who is probably helped, ship merchandise or anything like that to kind of get into the building. Or I'm not judging them because I know how people are. We're realists, right? But Joe Theismann, you can be judged though. I ain't gonna lie. You Joe Theismann. You know better.
Joe, you deserve this treatment.
Joe, you deserve this. You deserve this smoke. Joe, you deserve this smoke. All right.
Time, Joe.
Well, fellas, let's talk about this thing right here. This franchise is, let's be honest with you, the last couple of years, heck, last 20 years, but the last couple of years really feel like just things have just not been, there's just something amiss there. And that they trying to be more diverse. We've seen them with the hires. They're trying to be a different team, especially with all the scandal and everything that's come out in the last couple of years. Drew, and I'm going to start with you. Drew, do you feel like the franchise is heading in the right direction?
No, not whatsoever. You got all this stuff coming out about the reports against Dan Snyder and everything, and about the culture still coming out. Yeah, it was before the name change, but it's still not good PR. Not many people are going to want to come play with a franchise that has a bunch of turmoil. You think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just went through what they went through with AB, and you can kind of make an argument that kind of helped give the downfall with their season as quick as it did. It might not have been everything, but it definitely played a part into it. And this turmoil with the Washington team does not help out with anybody wanting to come to this team to change things around. I still think it's going to be at least a good 5 years potentially before Riverboat Ron can turn things around. So last time we really saw some change. If you take the RG3 year out, if you take that 1 year out, the last time they really had success was when Joe Gibbs was coaching the first time. The second time he came back, yeah, he did pretty good because he had Sean Taylor, and we'll never know how things could have been if that never would have happened. But as of right now, the last time they had success in my eyes was in 1994.
What about you, Wole? What are your thoughts on this, man? Do you feel like the franchise is heading in the right direction?
It's unknown to me, to be honest with you. If we're looking at, to be honest with you, in terms of, because I'm all about the field and what you put up, what you produce on the field. Like I said, and they're 7-9 and 7-10, so they're about the same, right? And so there's no progression, so it's right a flat line right now. So the whole thing is your third year. This is when you're supposed to show progression. Because if we be honest with you, we rip like Jay Gruden, right? And I wasn't like the biggest Jay Gruden fan, but when you look at it in retrospect and you look at it, you look at Jay and then you look at Ron, you're like, year 3 is where Jay had to win, right? I believe Jay had to win in year 3, and that's when Kirk had the season you like that and whatnot, and they got to the postseason. So to me, it's all about year 3. This is where Ron has to win. Then I can really give you a real honest to God answer about that. Was it year 4? What, Drew? Was it year 4 or year 3?
I think you're right with year 3, but
year 3, right? So I think it's on. Like, to be honest with you, I think that's where you can tell. Like, for real. But am I a fan visually of it? No, to be honest with you, how I really mentally, without mentally feeling about the progression of the season. I just think that as a leader and a leader of men, I know a lot of people get fixated on rah-rah guys and whatnot, because Ron Rivera seems like a rah-rah guy. But there's a lot of things I don't like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like in terms of how he's running his ship. There's a lot that I don't like. And I'll put it this way. If you're Joe Gibbs, if you're Bill Belichick, if you're Bill Parcells, it works for me. Your 5-year plan works for me because you have a track record. You have a track record of being a champion. So that works for me. So when you tell me a 5-year plan, I'm for it because I know what you've done it before. Even Gibbs, you talked about Joe Gibbs. Arguably, he's still the best coach. 2.0 is still the best coach they've had in a long time. Arguably, because he got to the postseason twice within his tenure, and still he showed you some playing hard. You could say Shanahan too as well, but he had one postseason, right? Shanahan had one postseason, but you could say Shanahan, but arguably you could say Joe Gibbs 2.0 was their best coach other than 1.0 Joe Gibbs. So so to me, when you're looking at Rivera, is he building anything different from any guy that we've seen in Washington before? I mean, after Joe Gibbs 1.0, I don't know. I can't tell you that. It all seems the same to me.
Drew?
Washington fact of the day, and I call him the Gibbous. The Gibbous is the only one to take the Washington team to the playoffs twice since the Gibbous.
The Gibbous. I love that one. Now, it's funny because, like, you look at the franchise, I want to have faith.
I like Drew, man. I'm not going to lie.
I want to have faith in the franchise.
I like Drew. I'm not going to lie.
I want to have faith in the franchise. I want to see, for my brother's sake, for both of my brother's sake, for my father's sake, who have been my dad has been a fan since the Bobby Mitchell days. He became a Washington Redskin fan because of Bobby Mitchell, or Washington Commanders fan, I guess you could say, because of Bobby Mitchell. And for that, I want to see them. I want them to see them happy again. Not at Green Bay's expense, of course, but I do also want to see them happy, and I want to see the franchise do well. I mean, like when you have teams like Washington and Dallas and New York, and those teams are doing well, teams that have been there for so long, it looks good for the league. It's just like in basketball, when the Lakers are doing good and the Knicks are doing good and the Bulls are doing good, when those teams are doing good, it's like, man, this is great. So I ain't gonna do you too much on that, Wale, because I know how that feels.
Appreciate you. My Lakers hurt me. Don't do it, man.
But you understand that. So
yeah, I understand. I get it.
Yeah. So, we'll see what the franchise heads to. But now we're gonna head to the QB situation, because we've seen some moments last year from Heineke. Obviously, we never got to see what Magic could do because Fitzmagic got hurt early, and there's some fans that are really on the Heineke train, and there's some fans that are not on the Heineke train. So, Wale, I'm going to ask you this: what's your thoughts on the quarterback situation? And if you like it, great. But if not, who would you like to see as the Commanders' quarterback in the future?
Don't like it. Didn't like it going to last season. Just think that they play with the quarterback position so much, especially to me, Ron overachieved, and he did a great job. He did a good job in year one, so I don't want to give any credit. To go 7-9 was a good job. Did a good job. Had Alex Smith, but after that, like when you have a season like that, it's something I always compare it to the Rams. The Rams are always trying to win a chip. Like they don't care. They're trying to win a chip. They'll put whatever it takes to kind of improve a position or whatever. And I feel like in that situation, when you overachieve, you got to kind of your weakness. So you just go as hard as you can in getting a quarterback. And he didn't do that in year two. So now we're in year three, 7-10. You got to go hard and get in a quarterback. I don't even want I like some of the quarterbacks, the lower tier quarterbacks, but I like them, but I don't trust them with this organization. Like I'm honest enough to say that. I am Mariota. I think could work here. I'm not the biggest Mariota fan, but I think it could work here because he is better than Heineke. And I think the quarterback play is so bad here that fans need to stop saying, "Oh, I can't have him. We can't have him." You have Taylor Heineke. Chill out. Chill out. Taylor Heineke was your quarterback. Chill out. Or Jameis Winston, I think you could, but I don't trust the offensive coordinator that much like everybody else. So I think you need the elite of the elite. You need the best of the best. So we're talking about Russell Wilson. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Dudes like that, you just can't go in. You got to go all in. You got to take the Tom Brady approach how Tampa did with Tom Brady. We're getting, that's the approach. We're going to add this dude. I don't care how old he is or whatever. Because it's year three for Ron. Year three, I mentioned it before. You can't get a young quarterback and play with it when year three because, all right, you have a bad season. That's 3 bad seasons in a row. That means you might not even have a good season in year 4. So what you have to do is now you have to get a veteran quarterback who can make your offense run, and guarantee make your offense run. You got to get one of those dudes. You get one of those dudes. You can draft a quarterback, and if you trade all your first round picks. All right, you trade all your first round picks, second or third. If you got an opportunity to draft a quarterback in the second or third. You know what I mean? But you got to make that route. You say no, not at all. You're not with that, Drew?
So Drew, Drew, we see you shaking your head there, man.
Drew, go, Drew, go.
Go ahead, Drew. Tell me what you got going on here, Drew.
Last time they traded all their first round picks, we got RG&E. Okay? So don't want to do that again.
Don't do that again.
I do however, everything else you were saying. That's the only thing I disagree with. Okay. Then when you look at their seasons, first season with Heineke, well, the back part of it in this season, they were 7-9 last year. This year, if you take out the last week that they won their last week because we had the extra week this year, they were 6-9. They were 7-10 when they finished the season, but they were 6-9 going into last week. So in my opinion, they went worse. They regressed.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So they were on the right track with getting a good quarterback at the end of last season with Fitzmagic. However, the magic died, and now his hip is gone, and I'm pretty sure he's done. It's sad because I really, really, really like Ryan Fitzmagic.
Me too. Me too. I do. I do
really
too.
like.
I'm gonna lie to you.
Hoping to see some big things from him this year, at least to go, 8-7. At least to have a winning record with them. I was hoping for that. But then first week we saw Heineke was in. And I was like, okay, we'll see what this kid's made of now that he's got a full season. I mean, for last year, for Christmas, my family got me the Legend of Taylor Heineke when he's diving across for the pylon shirt. That thing is cool, but that's the most excitement we've seen from Taylor Heineke was in that one playoff game against TB12. It was great. It came close. We thought for a small chance that he might take out TB12, but it just wasn't his time. And it may not. I do agree with this offseason. They need to go after another veteran quarterback. Ron Rivera is a defensive-minded coach. He played linebacker for the Chicago Bears and won the Super Bowl with him. He was a linebacker, I believe. I think he was a linebacker.
He's linebacker.
So he's defensive-minded. When he was the Chargers defensive coordinator, again, defensive-minded with that team. Then goes to Carolina. They're still a defensive-minded team, but you had Cam that could run all over the place and pretty decent offensive coordinators. Then you come to Washington, the post-Gruden era, and the one thing I do agree with the third season with Gruden was his best season as the coach with them, but he had McVay, and he had a lot of other pieces within that offensive coaching that helped him out. That was not all Jay Gruden. I will disagree with that. Jay Gruden, scrub. His brother, after what we found out about him, scrub. Want to punch him in the face. That's different. Anyway, let's disregard that part. Anyway, please, Washington, do not trade your next 6 years first-round picks or whatever you're planning on doing is crazy to get whatever you think is going to be the best quarterback on the market, and you're not going to get Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to get
Drew.
No.
See, this is what. See, no. There's no direct. No. See, no. We can't get Aaron. This is my pitch because. I've been on Twitter, and I've been, like I told Darrell this, I've been on Twitter, and I've been atting Aaron. Like, I've been atting Aaron a lot. You know what I mean? Aaron, I've tried to tell him about the DC locations, like go-go bands, mumbo sauce, everything in this side of town. And I've said, Aaron, you know what? I got a pitching point for you. Forget the outside, that nightlife or having a good time out here. There are players on this roster that he can win with. And he could, because he is Aaron, and he is done. Like, I'm sorry, I told Darrell something. Say it again. Lazard is terrible. Like, Lazard is terrible. He makes Lazard look good. That's De'Ami. De'Ami Brown should beg, and he should be atting Aaron Rodgers too. I shouldn't be the only one doing this. De'Ami Brown should be atting Aaron Rodgers, saying, "No, what saved my career." Like, Scary Terry could be Devontae Adams on a whole different level with Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers would make Scary Terry a top three statistically a top three wide receiver easily. Like, that wouldn't even be a challenge. Logan Thomas would be a top tier tight end with an Aaron Rodgers because of his catch radius and where Aaron Rodgers can put the football in. It's just so much there. And then you have running back and Antonio Gibson, who's still learning, but he was a 1,000-yard rusher. So there's so much that he can do here just if you really wanted Aaron Rodgers, and you just, not to say that Aaron would decide to come here, right? I'm not like putting that out there. But if I'm Washington, if I'm the GM, if I'm Ron Rivera, I'm like, you got Russ, you got whatever. Like, I know this is a fact. I know people want Russ, and Russ is a great quarterback. It's not a knock on Russ. I love Russ. I think Russ is good. But what I will say is this: Aaron Rodgers, just like Tom Brady, just like, Peyton Manning when he was around, he is one quarterback that can make any receiver fit the part. Like, he's shown that. Say what he said again?
On a bad foot.
On a bad foot. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's the one dude. Like, and Darrell, you know this. Like, you've seen some of the wide receivers that you guys have had. And as football fans, we've all complained, draft a wide receiver for Aaron.
Get him a receiver.
We've all complained about this. You know what I mean? And he still makes people look good. You know what I mean? He had to get
nose tackle playing running back named Eddie Lacy.
He did.
What?
Eddie was out there. Hey, Cheeseburger Eddie was the man for a while, man. Hey,
So-
Eddie was the man for a while.
I know if I'm Washington, I have to try my heart. Like, not to say you're gonna be successful, but that's the dude. I know a lot of people are talking about Russ got to be number one on the list, but see, that's the dude that I gotta pitch it to. Like, I got to, because he's shown you that he can make multiple dudes on your team be threats. Like, he's shown you this.
Right.
Like, and to me, if you're worried about like an offensive coordinator or this, that, and the other, when you have Aaron Rodgers, your offensive coordinator doesn't matter. I'm serious. It doesn't matter as much as other situations. Like, he might fight with them because he has his own ideology. Aaron Rodgers believes in his own thing. But, you know, if you have him, chances are your dude's got some talent. You're going to look all right.
Before I piggyback on the one thing that you said, as long as we have Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays on Pat McAfee show, I don't care where he goes, to be honest with you.
Woof.
He's been great on that.
He's cool.
For Darrell's sake, because he does need to get them one more Super Bowl, in my opinion. Okay?
Just one more.
That's my
He
my
can
take.
leave.
However, Aaron Rodgers, 38 years old, or he's 37, about to be 38.
Yeah, he's 37.
He's a year older than me. He's 38.
Okay, so with that said, Russ is like what, 32, 33?
33. He's 33.
33? Okay, so that's a pretty big gap. Did
It's
you
true,
guys
true.
see the Pro Bowl skill challenge?
Oh, he looked
Yeah.
good.
Him and
I
Mac
did.
Jones, and
Russ
what he
looked
was
phenomenal
doing,
last
the ball
night.
out to each
I was
he
like,
went,
oh,
boom,
man.
one throw, boom, 8 point.
Oh, he was talking trash too.
He was on fire.
He felt
love Aaron
good.
Rodgers, but I want Russ throwing balls like that to Terry McLaurin because think about it. This season is important because this is what Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin's 4th year in their deal, which most rookie deals are 4 years with potentially a 5th-year option. So if they don't make a big splash at quarterback this year, you not only lose potentially your number one wide receiver, but you lose your running back too. If they do not make a big move this offseason, I would not be surprised to see one or both of them walk next offseason.
Definitely scary. I'm definitely scared.
That's probably
Definitely
the scary part for me.
That's half the offense right there, if not more than that.
Yeah, we talked about that last night on your show. I mean, it's one of those things that if you don't want to lose Scary Terry, I'm telling you, Scary Terry goes to a certain team. Like if he goes to a Chargers team or he goes to any of those teams that have those young gun quarterbacks,
it's going
to be truly scary. Truly scary.
All he needs is a real NFL quarterback. That's all. That's all he needs.
He'll be great.
It's a
real
NFL quarterback. That's all he needs.
I think it's important for you guys to get. I think it's very important for you guys to get that piece at the quarterback position. Now, before we get off of here, y'all, I want to get one final word. And what I mean by one word, I want you to give me one word, fellas, that for the off season. Like you give me that one word that said this is what our off season means, or what we need to happen in the off season. So one word, and then I want y'all after that to tell me, give me your where they can reach you at on social media and all that good stuff. I'm gonna start with you, Drew. Give me one word for the off season, and then let everybody know where they can find you.
I knew you were gonna pick me first.
Of course, I was gonna pick you first.
I'm gonna go back with splash. You need to make a big splash because if you don't get a big-time quarterback, or maybe not a big-time quarterback, but at least somebody along the caliber of Fitzpatrick or close, those guys, one of those two, like I was saying previously, are going to go at the end of this next offseason or once their contract is out. They got to make a big splash. They got to draft for the O-line. The O-line is still trash. They've got to make a big splash. Splash is my word.
And where can they find you, Drew, on social media?
You can find me on Facebook at Drew Willingham. You can find me on Instagram at TheRealDWillie with underscores in between all of them. I had to create some new accounts, so I'll get those to you soon, Darrell, so you can update our website with that.
Sounds like a plan.
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram when I actually get on them. I'm a busy guy who works several jobs at one time trying to buy a house, so it's a lot going on at one time.
Been there before.
Not always being on here, but I'm trying to make it out here in these streets.
Blessing, man. Blessings to you.
My man, Drew. Wole, let everybody know. Well, give me your final word for the off season and let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
You're a wrestling fan, so you probably get this elite. So yeah, elite. You have to excel. You have to be elite in your draft process. You got to be elite when looking for a quarterback. I think you need an elite caliber. You have to aim for an elite quarterback in the off season. You aim for it, and you just gotta have in terms of coaching. Coaching has to be elite. Like everything to me, you gotta start instead of talking about the plan, you gotta be about the plan. So everything has to be elite. Now, in terms of my social media, you can catch me on Twitter at Wole_USS. If you're looking for the Urban Sports Scene, on Twitter at Urban Sports Scene. I'm on Instagram. You can just hit me up at Waleo32. That's WALEO 32. So, and we have the Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. You can catch me there too. But if you're on Twitter, I talk a lot of junk, a lot of trash. So y'all catch me there too. And hey, Russell, if you come to town, man, tell Sierra she can come too. We want her in the city as well.
Look, fellas, once again, I want to thank y'all for coming on the show, talking a little Washington Commanders football here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Make sure you check out my man Wale out there on Fox Sports 1340 AM Hopewell. Make sure you check him out. Of course, my man Drew Willingham, Satoba Media. Make sure you check him out. Once again, I'm Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been the Legacy Maker Sports News Update.